The Tennessee State Standard that I will be using for this project is communicating solutions that will reduce the impact from humans on land, water, air, and other living things in the local environment. This is a kindergarten state standard. Some key vocabulary that will be used for this lesson is recycling, environment, compost, reduce, and impact. So the main focus of this project with the reducing your impact on your environment standard would be recycling. And I would really focus on this 3-bin system that I found on a disposal website. And it's basically composed of a yellow recycling bin, a green organics bin, and then a red landfill bin. And I like that it's color coded, and that would help the kindergartners kind of understand like the difference between the 3 bins. And then for a project to kind of start understanding what can go in those bins, like what their purpose is, we would do a trash sort. And the way we would do the trash sort would depend on the budget that we had. And then another larger project that could be incorporated with this standard would be for the kids to come up with a way to implement this system in their school. That way they could focus on their local environment specifically, and not just like this theoretical environment that we're talking about in class. For the second scenario with the smart board in the classroom, I would have a Google Docs pulled up on the screen, and it would have 3 trash bins up, and then underneath them they would have 10 pieces of trash below, and the kids would come up one by one, or not one by one, but as I call on them, and they would drag the trash into the correct trash bin, and then the students could decide whether or not the student put them in the right bin, and that would get the conversation started about what goes in which bin, based on the information they'd been given before the lesson. For the last scenario, whenever the kids are on the one-to-one initiative, I would have each student be able to log into a classroom Google Docs document, and then there would be a document that had their name and then trash bin activity, so they knew which one to go to. So they would find their name, go to it, and then they would have similar to the last scenario, there would be 3 trash bins and then clip art below that they could drag. They would be able to drag that into the correct trash bins, and then I could look at it later to make sure that everyone's on the same page, and then talk to the classroom if there was some common mistakes or things that a lot of the students were missing. And then if it was just a few, then I could talk one-on-one to them outside of the assessment. Here is the verbal assessment that the kindergartners will be doing. They will each come up and answer these questions with me. So what are the 3 different categories of trash we talked about today? How does recycling affect our environment? What are some things you could recycle in your own home? Tell me one way you're going to start helping our environment. And can you tell me another way we could reduce the impact of humans on Earth? And then I also have an answer key. And there's lots of options for these questions, so it's not a very strict answer key, but it will be verbal.